Synergetic journal videos of my individual, continuous, non-political manifesto. May 5th, 2026. Reality Report. Closest Approach to Eternity and God, Part 11. Christina Herlufsen's ongoing Synergetics research project. Amazingly. And no matter how upset anyone may feel at the moment over some trivial or enormous event, humans rarely, if ever, give thought to the suffix set, S-E-T, in the word upset, as if it has no discoverable conceptual connection to experiential essential awareness of the minimum set, the minimum regenerative set of nature's coordinate system, and a set of patterns that are so ephemeral it can't be put into words. Such an ephemeral experience is, in quotes, phenomenon without name equal pattern integrity, end quote. According to Arbuthnot Fuller, when conversing with E.J. Applewhite at breakfast at E.J.'s home at 3200 Idaho, Northwest Washington, D.C., September 22nd, 1973. Obviously, the residential property has visually changed from what we can imagine it may have been in 1973, shown most recently in a Google search with a parked car at the curb, which would have reflected a different model. See some examples of autos in 1973. I provide links here to give us an idea where and when Arbuthnot Fuller and E.J. Applewhite worked together, organizing Bucky's myriad notes. E.J.A. once was an accountant for the CIA. Meeting at his home was in a collaboration that required E.J.A.'s specific, detail-oriented, organizing, accurate filing skills, without which Synergetics never would have been published. Nor would we have the Synergetics Dictionary, the mind of Arbuthnot Fuller, as an essential researching tool. The same goes for Google Maps, as a referential basis for property searchers in general, accrediting research resources. Of course, my ongoing research project, Synergetic journal videos of my individual, continuous, non-political manifesto, intends the most unselfish of the arts, which Bucky evaluated as, in quotes, the art of intelligent conversation, which might not be possible with different motivated readers and writers, observers, whose interests prefer remaining detached from deep thought. Instead, they tend, adhering to the forms they have adapted, conforming thus, usually not considering and reconsidering the reality basis. That does not require awareness of the science of structure and pattern in general, which is the mathematics Bucky employed. He identified it as the organization of the data regarding all physical experiments. An intelligent conversation that omits familiar jargon, although, can be off-putting when explicit word use is unknown to the audience, causing upset and loss of interest in the conversation and also the speaker, even on a one-to-one basis. A chasm has widened, nonetheless, between the articulator's best clarifying intentions and the recipient audience's relative insecurities, whose imagination tends to veer off toward a more compatible self-other limitation, not identifying the redirection as potential irresolute self-other limitations. Potentially irresolute self-other limitations occur when speech concerns an exchange of formulated ideas referential to a belief system's selected terminology that best describes any number of indoctrinated humans who pridefully think of themselves as fully informed believers, whose grasp of historic events, said to be of such great importance, are set in stone. So there is no need to explore and investigate how otherwise those reported scenarios might have played out. Had the initiators started with metaphysical physical universe and not with humans playing a role as a follower within a belief system's hierarchical predicaments, where conforming to it does not clarify all that was left out. All that was left out of history's scenarios at minimum was and continues to be awareness of the lucidly relevant set, a positive or negative set of the whole, WHOLE, that nevertheless may well be upsetting to rigidly affixed mindsets who resort to offensive idioms, slang, vituperative language that is memory stored in their brain as a type of defensive mechanism, becoming increasingly popularized for emulations throughout human societies. From what was learned gets one's personality's message across to others. A vivid example of vituperative language was articulated by the stand-up comedians on the Netflix series, as the grand finale shown yesterday chose the winner of the contest. Throughout every episode, the language for the most part increased to such extent that it seemed winning connected to defiling the human anatomy's genitalia, sexuality, broken relationships, and somehow advantaged the performer's winning chances for the Netflix special comedy competition. The final episode aired yesterday, May 5th, 2026, as the audience loudly applauded with standing ovations. See Netflix Funny AF contest hosted by Kevin Hart. Or rigidly affixed mindsets can cling to the politics, religion, justice, military rules that in and of themselves, at the outset, omitted general systems, mathematical control matrix, the scientific generalizations. In most cases, such belief system articulations result from adapting to emulation patterns, adopted forms of speech, regardless that reactions to the referential basis may incite blurting out agreement or disagreement to various degrees of intensity, gathering followers without a consciously coordinated thought in the typically inculcating communication process. The messaging actually may intend indoctrination to the behavior patterns as the primary objective, and by which the individual observer is convinced that the iterated and reiterated words are more important than its own innate intuition, its otherwise informed imagination's inherent ability to conceptually formulate what its brain-mind is designed to discover in principle for its psyche's personality, perspective, and philosophy to evolve along with the evolving universal communication process, TEUCP, whereas yet the manifest realities evidence no awareness of a minimum set, much less a lucidly relevant set and the positive or negative set of the whole, WHOLE. When it comes to reality, what humans call reality, as it turns out, is always a positive or a negative set of the whole, WHOLE, as we can review in Synergetics 441.23. This synergetic next section takes us directly to the vector equilibrium, not only as the cosmic, logically preferred basis of reality and starting point for the most comprehensively considerate conversation without also having to subject one's metaphysical intellect to any popularized aberrant use of language, but also to acquaint one's conceptual and reasoning faculty of thought to the most accurate referential physical reality. In principle, the most accurate referential reality basis is what humans seem always to have been searching to find, which is a multi-frequency accommodation self-regenerating pattern integrity when zero pulsation in the vector equilibrium is the closest approach humans will ever know to eternity and yom. Yom. Universe, eternal, omniscient mind is my accurate replacement for the sound word God that is spoken and interpreted in any language anywhere on earth. Awareness of the always indeterminate reality, the non-simultaneity and dissimilarity of the complementary interpatternings as nature modulates probability, and the degrees of freedom independent of time size are also what metaphysical generalized conceptioning is that we can always learn more about when observing the reenacting articulations and specifically during research writing referentially to the most accurate resources. This may be hard to grasp when the world's communication systems seem fixated on amassing followers in some type of conformity, while contradictorily promoting false narratives, false premises, vain commencements occur whenever intuition's metaphysical intellect does not start with universe, while promoting any belief system that by default setting omits generalized principles, never learning that in quotes the principle is more of a reality than the qualities they produce, end quote. By the 21st century, humans everywhere on earth ought to know that in quotes all principles are omni-embracing, omni-permeative, omni-synergetics, end quote, from R. Buckminster Fuller's Ecology Sequence. Until next time, thank you. Gratefully, faithfully, eternally, Christina Herlovson. Contact herlovsoncristina@gmail.com.